military, you have a purpose. You have a mission. You have a plan. You know what you're supposed to be doing. Even though your piece of that plan is this small, it's there. When you take that uniform off, you lose that purpose. You lose that self-worth, that identity. How do they re-identify themselves? How do they rebrand themselves? How do they figure that part out? And so hopefully I can help them do that. I mean, I'm no psychiatrist or I'm a doctor, just not in that area. Kevin Burkman. I'm retired from the Army. I did 24 years in the Army and 4.5, I think, in the Navy. And then I went from the Army in Washington, D.C. and moved to Belleville, West Virginia, and bought a small farm and trying to make it profitable in multiple different ways. And here we are. And then I own a business, the blacksmithing business side, where we make knives and custom-made whatevers for anybody and everybody. And we're expanding that business even more to help veterans learn something, a skill of some sort, and to help fill their mind with something a little bit different and to help cope with PTSD. It was a rough childhood. I didn't realize I was an abused child until I actually went to college. I thought everybody had those kinds of relationships, and just decided I wasn't going to take it. And some folks can turn that into a negative and use that as a crutch to explain why they're failing in their lives. I didn't. Chose it to be a catapult to become an overachiever, and so that's what I did. I made 10 long-term goals and 10 short-term goals, carried them around in my wallet, and checked them off as I went, and I achieved every one of them. I started off in the Navy. I ended up becoming a nuclear power plant component welder. I always said that if you're going to do anything, get out of it what you put into it. So I dove into it head first, took out everything I could, learned anything and everything I could about metallurgy and welding, pipe fitting, bending, tolerances. While I was in the Army, earned my degrees and just never looked back. Farming is, it's noble. Nowhere in the world do you have to have a more rounded understanding of everything. You've got to be an alchemist, a chemist, a mathematician, understanding weather and sciences, your own veterinarian. You have to have a well-rounded of everything. You couldn't have a town without a blacksmith. Blacksmiths were so important. They made your nails that held the walls up. Blacksmithing to my life has brought my family closer together. Multiple deployments for me. I spent a total of 7 years in the Middle East. And so for me, it's trying to regain those 7 years with my children. This last December, I had probably one of the worst flashbacks I've ever had in 30-something years. I've never had one this bad, and it shook me to my core. I now can relate even more than I think I ever thought I could before. And so now I understand it even more dramatically. You got to have connections with the people around you that you love, because if you hurt the people that are around you that you love, those relationships won't be there to help pick you up and help keep you together. And it's those bonds, because the people that you depend on will not be there if you keep lashing out. And PTSD, there's lots of layers to it. Well, yes, it's a coping mechanism, but it also helps provide a new skill and a way to learn something new. And most people that I know have wanted to continue that and to build on that. And while we're building it, I am giving them lessons about it in life as we're talking about it, by talking about taking this rusty piece of metal that used to be bright, brilliant, and sharp, and then for some reason it was cast out there on the side of a railroad track or I found it somewhere in a dumpster of metal and scrap, and now we're going to make something beautiful out of it. But in order to make it beautiful, we got to heat it up. We have to beat it up a little bit, stretch it out, hammer it down, make it into something, and then when we're all done with it, it's something that's beautiful and you're willing to put it up on a shelf and put it on display for everyone to see. But I help them understand that there's a lot of life to live left, and if you kill yourself or you harm yourself, you're going to leave a ripple of pain behind.